Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined with my partner in crime here, Mr. Andrew Hansen. How are you doing on this wonderful Groundhog Day, February 2nd, 2021?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, we did a podcast earlier for the NBA, so check that out if you haven't already for tonight's slate here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I am excited about Groundhog Day because it's snow outside here. We got a foot, but we get to talk about golf. And once again, just watching the some of the preview action on the Golf Channel, and the fairways just look amazing. I'd love to be there, but it's going to be different this year with no fans. Oh,
Crazy.
well, 5,000 fans limited, so it's not like the
Yeah.
200,000 fans per day that we've gotten. So it's
Right.
not it's not going to feel like Groundhog Day watching this tournament.
No, it's not. But hey, you know what? A small amount of fans can cause trouble too. Did you see the LeBron incident last night?
Yeah, I caught a clip of it.
There was a young blonde lady there on the sidelines giving him some business, and now it's all over social media. It's pretty darn funny. But yeah, who knows? They'll still be hooting and hollering and yelling stuff there, even though it's only a smidgen of the people that are normally there. But we'll take we use the Groundhog Day thing for basketball. We're going to use it for golf because we had a winning week last week. Did a nice weekend finish. Our guys did well, so we cashed in some, not just cash, but GPP plays and some single entries. And we want to keep that momentum going. So Groundhog Day again as we head to the Phoenix Open, as you mentioned. It's at TPC Scottsdale. Great course. That par three on 16th is a blast. And just, again, it's certainly going to be different without the fans, but it's still a great course to watch an event. And that is, of course, this Thursday through Sunday, the 7th, the 4th through the 7th. And the course is a par 71, 72.66. So, pretty average, not super short, not one of the longer ones, but a true test. And if you're hitting the ball well, you can score. It's that simple. So excited to get into this one with you and check out some of the statistical analysis. But our information has to be verified by putting you through our normal quiz. So we're going to start out. You're on a you're on a 1-game losing streak here.
Am I?
So
It's okay. I'll
so
take
it's
your word
time
for
to
it.
strike back.
All
All right,
right,
I'm
perfect.
gonna trick you today though. To try to get 2 in a row, I'm going deep into the bag of tricks. Are you ready for this one? I
I
think you
think
can
so.
get it.
All
No
right.
searching, I don't want to hear any clicking. In the last 5 years at this tournament, TPC Scottsdale, you have to name 2 of the previous 5 winners of this event in the last 5 years. You can get this. I know you can.
Yeah, I can because I watched last year. I mean, it in recent years the final round is always on Super Bowl Sunday, so it's a nice way to hang out and catch some golf. You can watch it while interacting with people, having a good time. And I remember it quite well because I bet on Tony Finau during the final round to finish off the
Ouch.
win, and
Yeah.
Webb Simpson comes out of nowhere with some late birdies, forces a playoff and takes the trophy away from our friend Tony Finau. So Webb
Yeah.
Simpson last year, and of course, if you see the thumbnail for our podcast this week on YouTube, Gary Woodland is a winner
Yes.
here. So I'll just go with those two guys.
What a easy one. I let you get back into the win
That was a
column.
layup. Thank
That
you.
was too easy. It was Simpson last year. Fowler the year before, though, if you remember that run that he made. Woodland on in 2018, which was a great story back. That's when he in the practice round pulled the girl out to hit the putt, and she made the putt, and it was an internet sensation for a long time. And then 16 and 17 back to back, somebody won
Hideki.
it. Hideki Matsuyama, yes.
See, I've
So
done my
that
research. I'm ready.
man, you are just you get a bonus point for that. We'll make you 2-1. All right, let me give you the real quick rundown, and I'll do it like I normally do, just to give everybody a put their arms around, the top 20 by the betus.com.pa odds. John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Webb Simpson, Daniel Berger, Hideki Matsuyama, Harris English, Sungjae Im, Brooks Koepka, Bubba Watson, Ricky Fowler, Ryan Palmer, my favorite, Will Zalatoris, and back-to-back with one of my favorites, Scotty Scheffler, the aforementioned Gary Woodland, and this last guy. He tried to sink our lineup last week. He just blew up with a +8 and withdrew Mr. Matthew Wolff, who is on my poo-poo list, Andrew. I'm not taking Matthew Wolff this week.
That's right. He was in your FanDuel lineup that's still cashed, right?
But yes, 5 out of 6, and he you know what he chipped in with? 0.3.
Yeah, he chipped in on the 18th, his first round out of the bunker on a terrible round, his only birdie of the day, and he was playing with, who was it? Rory, a couple of studs, and I don't think he was very happy with his performance. I'm not quite sure about that injury, but
yeah,
in any event,
that was one of those, I shanked it. Ooh, I got an injury.
Yeah, right.
He's not going to make my. I beat him up pretty good in Discord, so we're done with him. Mm-hmm. But all right, well let's tap into this this golf brain of Andrew Hansen here. What kind of stats do you have for us, and how do we expect this course to play this weekend?
Well, like you mentioned, sort of medium length, all things considered. We are at a little bit of elevation, but it is only par 71. So I looked at a couple things. Looking at the last few winners, they've been highly ranked in ball striking. They've all been top 6 if you look at Webb and Fowler and Woodland in that category. And so that, of course, combines total driving and greens and regulation. And these are bigger greens. They average over 7,000 square feet. So wow. It's just, if you play steady tee to green here, the rough isn't that penal, but if you just get it on that, the flat surface, the dance floor, if you will, then it comes down to putting. So I'm looking at the ball striking here in the last couple of years, and then also par 4 scoring a little bit, because we do get that extra par 4 instead of the 4th par 5 on a par 71. And the last 3 winners here have finished first, and 4th in par 4 scoring. So I looked at that stat coming into the week. So let's look at the ball striking here. And if you look at last year, how things finished up, a lot of the big names are up there. Sungjae Im was number 1 in that stat. Your boy Munoz was next in the guys who are playing here. Cam Champ, Xander, and Scheffler were tied for 7th last year. And then we've got all the big guys coming up next year. Justin Thomas, Rahm, Rory. This is Rory's first time here at this event, by the way. Harris English, Webb Simpson, Brendan Todd, Hideki, Ryan Palmer, Daniel Berger, and Horschel. So, I mean, it's no surprise that looking at that list, I mean, those are guys who got to the Tour Championship, best players on tour, and a lot of them are here this week. All those guys I just mentioned are playing. So, the good ball strikers here get a big boost. If you look at the stats from just this season, the wraparound season that we're in, some of the guys at the top are more value plays. So check out this group. These are guys from the top 10 who are playing in this tournament. Sam Burns, who was playing pretty well last week, but then was putting very poorly on Sunday, so he ended up tied for 18th. James Hahn, a value play we've used before. Good course history here, by the way. Martin Laird, Neesmith, Norlander, and Stuart Sink. So these are guys that...
those guys are cheap, too.
Those are all guys under 8,000 on DraftKings. They're not, extra long hitters. Like you said, we don't need that here on this course necessarily. And then I'll just finish up with the rest of the top 20 for ball strikers this year. We get the same guys from last year: Sungjae Im, Jon Rahm, Brendan Steele, who's worth mentioning, Webb Simpson, and Scheffler. So to me, one of the themes is, how many of these top names can we get? If we pay all the way up for Rahm or Justin Thomas, what does that do to the rest of our lineup? And so that's one of the key things that I'm going to be working with here in these lineups. Do you have a feel for, if you want to go with one of the highest priced options, like you often do to try to anchor your lineup?
Yeah, I mean, in golf, it seems like there's so much more variance to results week to week, depending on the course and what's going on, that you can always find solid value. And especially with you pointing out some of the value plays every week, I find myself often, paying up for a guy or two that I think are going to be that top five kind of guy like we've had the last couple of weeks. We've done that and they haven't won the tournament, but they've been right there, and those points all add up. I mean, to cash as well as we did with a guy missing the cut, usually you have to get everybody through to do some damage. It really helps to have those solid cash plays, and I have two of them this week actually, and I wanted to see how you felt about them. One of them is pretty obvious, seems like a rookie play because he's the defending champ and he's playing well. But damn, man, it's Webb Simpson is so tough. He's 11-3, and I get that. But, it's the guy. It's not like the guy just won it last year out of the blue. He's had great finishes here, including a runner-up to Matsuyama in 2017. So, I really enjoyed playing like a stellar guy that I know it has a great chance to make the cut, and also a great chance to hit that board in the top 10 or 5 overall. And I think Simpson is the safest and most secure play. And, you don't have to take somebody coming off the bench like you do in basketball. You get guys that are going to be out there and they're going to play their rounds. And if they make the cut, they have just as good of a shot as anybody else. So, it's hard not to want to build some of that strength at the top, and you're able to do it by getting some of that value. So what do you think of Simpson?
Like you said, he is such a steady choice, especially for this type of course. I mean, we always talk about Webb Simpson on shorter courses.
Yeah.
And if you get more par fours like
He's
this
straight
one,
as an arrow, man.
he's so great tee to green. And, he is one of those guys where you would be absolutely shocked if he missed the cut. So,
Right.
you feel great about him.
Knock on wood here and this.
The thing is, he's more expensive on FanDuel. He's the third most expensive guy, or no, he's fifth most expensive. But on DraftKings, it feels like a bigger drop from, let's say, Rahm down to Simpson. It's 1,100.
Yeah.
Over on FanDuel, it's only 700. So he just it stands out to me because I'm kind of leaning towards Rahm here at this point in the week.
Okay. Yeah.
Arizona State guy, kind of going back home. He's been knocking on the door. 3 straight finishes where he's finished 7th.
Yeah, that's crazy. 777. There you go. Luck charm.
777. See, I like
mean,
that.
he is awesome. I agree with you. He may be. Well, did I put him as the favorite? When I read that? Yes, he is the favorite. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're right. 6-1 is all he is. And actually, just Justin Thomas at 7.5-1, Schauffele 9-1, McIlroy 10-1, Simpson's down at 13-1. So it looks like Coach may have a little side bet action going here.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. So that will be a key decision because again, I'm looking at that price difference on DraftKings and trying to figure out which way to go.
Well, I wish I could have both of them.
I know. Well, it's possible. We do try to hammer the 6K and 7K value plays on DraftKings. So that's one thing we can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's no doubt. That's the one cool thing about golf. I mean, you can take some of those shots, but I sort of have a tendency to agree with you, though. I hate to take 2 of the highest price guys right off the bat, because then you almost have to scramble for 3 guys rather than just some value with 2. So excellent stats. I'm dying to hear the par 4 ones, though. That's really going to be key, I think. Just historically, we need those guys on our board here, I think.
Yeah, and there are some more opportunities here if this form continues to save some money on some of these guys. Russell Henley, #1 in this stat this year, par 4 scoring, and he's only 8,200. So
Would have never
perfect.
guessed that.
Yeah, perfect mid-tier option. Ryan Palmer's next. He's, this is one of those tournaments where he's 92, and we've talked about it before. Ryan Palmer's a guy I'd much rather spend 7 or 8,000 on
Yeah,
than over
I like him,
9,000.
but not
Yeah.
at that number either.
James Hahn, 6,800, who I mentioned in ball striking.
Yeah,
Uh, Justin Thomas is in this category. Here's a real cheap option for you if you like Brian Gay, 6,100.
jeez.
And he does have a decent course history here. Um, he has a recent winner on PGA Tour. So there's an option for you. And then next in par four scoring is Sam Burns. So obviously you see a lot of um, carryover here between the ball striking and par four scoring stats.
Right.
But Burns at 7,700, he's just shown he's got the top 10, top 20 upside. And then Henrik Norlander, another guy who burst back onto the scene this week in the mix after some up and down performance recently, and he's 7,500 on DraftKings. So you take one or two of those guys, then you feel really good about them making the cut, and they can help you pay up for one or two of the studs.
No question. There's one guy that I want to ask you about because I've been vacillating back and forth whether I want to roster him or not because he is overpriced, but it is Matsuyama himself, the two-time champ. He's so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been in sharp form. I think he's going to be pretty low owned because he hasn't been playing that well and his price is high. But man, he could be a real difference maker. What do you think?
I agree. He is a wild card this week. He's been making the cuts, but out of his last 3 tournaments, only one top 20, and it was tied for 19th. So he's not quite in his top form, but as a multiple time winner here, that's the thing. And I was thinking the same thing here before the podcast is what do we do with Hideki? And to me, he just feels more of a GPP option because of that. I kind of like Daniel Berger in that same price range.
Yeah.
$200
He's got good
cheaper.
success here too. Yeah.
Solid success here. He has 3 out of 6 top 10s and 2 straight top 10s in his recent events here in 2021. So I like that combination, that background a little bit better than Hideki. So I think I'll more likely go to Berger this week.
Yeah, I mean they're both priced about the same, and there's definitely some tough decisions here. I want to throw in one other guy in the mix, and then I'm going to put my lineup together between some of this value plays you brought forward, and then a couple of these key plays. But here's a guy that's playing great. He's made every cut, and I just think he fits here. He finished in the top 5 here before, and that's John Huh. You know what I'm saying? H-U-H.
Right.
I never know how to really say it and not sound like you're, it's sort of like back to KBO days when it sounds like we're shortening all the names. What do you think of Mr. Huh?
He didn't make any of my lists this week.
Oh, no. Okay.
As you know, I've enjoyed playing him recently.
Yeah.
So I definitely cannot blame you for the interest. I mean, he's just one of those guys that goes under the radar that does seem to make the cut every week.
And his price isn't too bad in the 9,000s, which, it's not giveaway prices, but, a guy, again, I like the track record. If you've been in the top 5 here and you play it every year, that means a lot, I think.
Yeah, and he's only 7,200 on DraftKings.
See, that's amazing. He's 93 on Fanduel. So, I mean, that's a lock and load on DraftKings, and it should not be that big of a difference. Although I may have to fade him on FanDuel because that does seem a little high,
It does. Yeah, I prefer him on DraftKings there. There are a couple other guys in this price range I want to mention.
Okay.
Ben On is always a GPP option who is like the classic boom or bust golfer, because he's great with his ball striking, but his putter is a mess. So if he figures it out, then watch out. And he's 4 for 4 and made cuts in this event with 2 top 10s. He's 7,300 on DraftKings. I like that option. Mark Hubbard is a cheaper one. 6,600. He's 3 for 3 in made cuts here with a top 10. Brendan Steele, who I mentioned earlier, 7,400. He's 6 for 10 with top 20s. And Kyle Stanley, he's one of the former winners from 2012, and he's only 6,700. And his last two events have been a 32nd and an 18th.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's not very often you get that type of profile for 6,700.
It seems like there's a ton of value in this slate, even more so than normal, which really makes you want to go stars and scrubs for sure. I like the options there. That's a lot of great folks. We didn't really touch on the only two guys I want to mention. Not that I'm playing either one, are actually all three. Let me bring all three up because I think they're going to all get a chunk of ownership. But Thomas, McIlroy, and Schauffele. Now, Schauffele makes sense. I think he's going to be highly owned. He's obviously 6 for 6 on cuts. This plays right into his game. I mean, he's got to be considered. But, I mean, you can only play so many of these guys. And I'm with you, McIlroy first time in, so I'm not going to go there. Plus, he's not playing that sharp. And Justin Thomas is always dangerous, but it seems like the last few times I played him, he's just not getting it done with the flat stick,
Yeah. Same analysis for me with that group.
Yeah. Very simple. Okay. Yep. So we're just passing the second, third, and fourth highest priced guys. We'll see you next week, fellas.
Yeah. And we'll pray on the way that you don't win, like we know that you can.
Yes, we need to hire somebody to be out on the course, and right when they're hitting, they have to yell Noonan, like the old Caddyshack deal. Since it's the Gopher Day, it's, tying it all together, man. Absolutely. So we just lost half the audience on that bad one, but
well, if we did, you got to do your research and get caught up.
Yes, I agree. All right, any other stats or anything you want to discuss? Any other guys to point out? I mean, we've got a bucket load of value here, so.
I'll just mention two mid-tier prices because you're right. It feels like stars and scrubs, and it feels like there's more of that pricing set up, especially on DraftKings, so you don't have as many options in the middle tier. But two little wild cards to consider in that range would be Louis Oosthuizen, who's 8,900. He's 8,900. And,
dangerous.
He's right in that price range between Scheffler, Zalatoris, Koepka, Wolff, and Fowler. I don't think he's going to be that highly owned. And he has one appearance here, and he finished third. And, that's a great guy to get in your lineup and hope for a top 10. And then Carlos Ortiz, who we found also, his price tag jumped out at us.
Yeah,
7,800 on DraftKings.
I don't understand that as well as he's playing.
Yeah. So if you want a little bit of a different build, you could grab one of those guys and not go quite as much stars and scrubs.
And I'll tell you, a little bit different than some of the sports, especially in golf. Don't be afraid to leave money on the table. I mean, again, the difference between using every dollar in your salary and leaving even $1,000 on the table, it's somewhat doesn't matter in golf. It's almost like, different than any other sport. Well, you're not stacking anything. You're not looking at specific value spots. I mean, it's just a lot of the guys are mispriced or priced lower. And on any given week, pretty much anybody can step up and win a tournament. So definitely creates variance, but we've had consistent success, and we hope to keep that streak going for sure. I'm probably going to end up with Will Zalatoris again because I've played him like 6-7 tournaments in a row, and I know if I don't play him, he's going to win the darn thing. So
right.
I'm going to have to dial him up once again. So, all right, I think that's about it. Do you have any last info or anything?
I think that's it for the week. Thank you all for tuning in.
Terrific. And we've got, we'll be doing this PGA show every Tuesday afternoon, posting it around dinner time, and it'll be up until the Thursday tee off. So it gives you plenty of time to catch the podcast. We'd love to have you join us at dfscoachtalk.com. Just jump in there. You can get in for a week, even as a minimum, or there's all kinds of different options. including you want to tell real quickly about our 149 deal with BetUS?
Yeah, if you're into sports betting, go to betus.com.pa. If you can make your first deposit there, do it for 149 with the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, and you're going to get to use that money to bet on sports, and you get a free membership with us until April 1st. So it's a tremendous value. Love to have you do that. If you have any questions, you can find us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk.
Absolutely. And if you want to message us directly, Andrew's at Language Olympic. I'm at JOESARVADI. And Shane is at DET Sports Shane. Last thing, as always, as we're closing out here, if you listen to the podcast, you enjoyed it, we'd really appreciate on YouTube if you give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the alert so you know when our podcast posts. This week we have 7-day-a-week NBA basketball, which we always have. Well, we have golf. We have the Super Bowl special coming with Andrew and Shane. You don't want to miss those. So by hitting that alert button, they'll let you know when they post. So please do that. We're moving up in the algorithms and getting to the point where we're pretty excited. So please continue to support us there. Thank you all for listening, though. We appreciate it. We'll certainly be back next week, hopefully reliving Groundhog Day with another winning week. That's our game plan. We're going to just keep doing that. And as long as we can, we're going to say it because we want to keep winning. So that is it. Appreciate it. Good luck on the between the ropes, as they say, in golf. Enjoy watching the tournament this weekend as part of the Super Bowl weekend. And we'll look to catch it for sure tomorrow with our NBA and Super Bowl special podcast. So for Andrew Hansen and the entire DFS Coach Talk team, I am Joe Sarvati, known as the Coach. We will catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.